Hi, everyone. Today we will be having our game night where we will be reviewing the cases that the interns have made, making a diagnosis and treatment plans according to certain cases. So, what we're going to do is have students break out into breakout rooms here on Zoom into teams of two or three and have 10 minutes in their breakout room to go over a random case that they've been assigned. And so, with that, what we want you to come up with is a diagnosis and a treatment plan for that case. And then we're going to come back together after your breakout rooms and do some presentations. So, with two to three people in each team, we really want to hear every person speak. So, when you come back together, please give a synopsis of the case. So, give us some background on what symptoms they're experiencing that stood out to you. Have a diagnosis and then a treatment plan. That could be therapy, that could be medication, that could be really anything that you think will help this patient. So with that, let's get started and head into our breakout rooms.
We said that our diagnosis was bulimia, and we diagnosed that just based on like the symptoms that they were talking about. They were talking about weight loss and how they had anxiety with eating and in social settings with food, and they had like common symptoms of like purging and dental erosion.
Adding on to that, for like treatment, we talked about how there could be like a variety of different kinds of therapy. So one of the things we talked about was that her body image standards kind of came from her family and the standards that they put out. So family therapy could change her body image, and then she could either have group therapy or one-on-one. And then like more of a newer kind of niche technique is like psychedelic treatments. There are current studies like happening right now about using certain drugs to help rewire pathways in the brain to deal with both anxiety and like the depression that surrounds like food and dietary restrictions.
Yeah, some of the symptoms we talked about were like purging, where she like intentionally made her like throw up. We talked about her like losing her period because of hormone imbalances and her having like enamel like degeneration because of the purging stuff, and like the dizziness because she wasn't
Okay,
getting enough food and yeah.
awesome. So I okay, so the diagnosis was intended by the author to be bulimia nervosa with anorexic features. So right on, guys. I think we're good to move on to group two.
Okay. Um, so our patient was basically talking about how he would go into these fits where, like, one moment he'd be super high energy, he wouldn't sleep for like 72 hours, he'd be working really diligently, and he'd be making impulsive decisions and being reckless with money. But then when he'd come down, and these were like his high energy periods, but then when he'd come down from those, he'd like he couldn't even get out of bed, and he was feeling worthless and like a failure, and just letting his life slip through. So, the diagnosis we had for him was manic depressive disorder, which is like characterized by a person's like significant mood change. And since he was from one moment he was going from like invincible to like next moment feeling like a failure, I feel like that's why we diagnosed him with that.
Yeah, and so our treatment plan we thought would focus on like mood stabilizers like maybe lithium, and then there would be therapy like CBT, and he would have like lifestyle adjustments like consistent sleep, exercise, and just like stress management, and like just making sure like maybe he gets like flexibility and like deadlines in school, and just like regular follow-ups and just monitoring for like suicidal thoughts maybe could be like key to like long-term stability. So yeah.
Okay, great. Was it just the two of you in your room?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the
Yes.
oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying yes because you asked me it
Okay.
was two of us.
Great. So yeah, the diagnosis was bipolar, which I just Googled, and it looks like those are the same terms of what your diagnosis was. Also, guys, I don't know who was in what group, so if you've all spoken, maybe if you can say like, that's it for us, that'd be great, so that I know I can start talking now. Okay, so group three.
I can go. So we diagnosed the patient with narcissistic personality disorder. I wrote the symptoms down because there was quite a bit, but he basically throughout the whole thing, he was very envious of other people and he really showed that by talking about his coworkers and thinking that they weren't as good as him or doing the same work that he was doing. He cared a lot about himself and thought no one else cared about him. He got frustrated when he started talking about all of his achievements and the provider was not reciprocating the same excitement that he had. And then he also said that he got a lot of attention as a child, but it shifted away from him to his brothers while he was growing up, which may be the cause of why this all ended up happening.
And for treatment, we thought about psychotherapy, including CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, to regulate his emotions, and also group and family therapy to help with his relationships. And also, if it comes to medication, uh, we wanted antipsychotic medication to help with the symptoms of depression and anxiety that can come with the personality disorder. And also, he also can go through other therapy to work towards his feelings in a safe environment. And that's it for both. There's only two of us.
Great work. Sorry, I was talking with my mute on. Great work, guys. It was narcissistic personality disorder. Awesome. Group number 4.
Hi, so we thought our patient has clinical lycanthropy, and that's basically just like a psychiatric syndrome where the patient has like a delusional belief that they're turning into a wolf. So some of the reasons why we thought this happened was because first of all, the patient's been in rehab prior to this for like extreme substance abuse. So that's kind of one of the factors that triggers this sort of like syndrome. And then also they had uncut fingernails and toenails, matted hair that was like all over their arms and legs, and that kind of like indicates like a wolf-like physical appearance, as well as like craving strong meat and being unable to sleep, going up on all fours on like stairs and things like that, kind of just like led us to think that she was behaving or the patient was behaving like a wolf.
And then
Oh wait, go ahead, sorry.
sorry. Adding on to that, she also wanted to make growling noises, which is a common symptom, and her substance abuse was specifically with a hallucinogen, which is a very common cause for this condition. Um, and as for treatment, uh, some of them are like medications and antidepressants because of some of the conditions that come with clinical lyco. I don't know how to say it, sorry. And then also antipsychotic medication, pharmacotherapy, and then also just um lifestyle changes.
And it was just us two in the group.
Awesome. That was the correct diagnosis. For anyone who wants to read more, I thought that that was so interesting when someone picked that. It's clinical lycanthropy. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what it looks like. So with that, we'll go on to group number 5.
Originally, we thought our diagnosis would be bulimia nervosa, but someone else already said that. So it's still either might be that or anorexia.
We'll stick with our original answer of bulimia. So I'll elaborate towards the end.
Yeah.
So we thought it was bulimia because the patient came in and it talked about fluctuating weight and how like she'd been working out and then her eating habits were kind of crazy. Um, and another big thing is uh, the throwing up was one of the big things, and we thought that her throat was red because she was throwing up so much. So that could be a reason why. And like she was always concerned about her body weight, and like she couldn't even go out with her friends because she was too stressed about eating. And I'll let one of my other group members go through like treatment options.
So like the symptoms that like really popped out, like he said, that like made us believe that like it was bulimia instead of like anorexia was like the throat being red. And I feel like like this person wouldn't have put it in if it wasn't like a very like prominent thing that we should kind of be noticing.
Yeah, and our treatment for the patient would be giving them. I'll probably give. I'd give them maybe some depression or anxiety meds, maybe sertraline. Start them on that. Get them into therapy. The patient into therapy. Um, and yeah, I'm curious to see what it actually is.
Okay, it was bulimia nervosa. We did have two bulimias in this start. So, good job, guys, sticking with your diagnosis there. If you guys are all good, we'll move on to group six.
Okay, so for case six, so we thought it was erotomania, and that's basically when you're like incredibly in love with someone where you start like um just obsessing over them and everything that they do. So for this case, this woman is completely like fixated on this guy. Like she writes like a lot of like love messages, like she like writes a heart on her coffee cup and plays specific songs. Um, and then she believes that this guy is secretly in love with her despite like lack of evidence. And then she's obsessed with like tiny little like messages that like he might do that doesn't even mean anything, but then she thinks it's like about love and that he loves her. And then she loses sleep over this guy. She completely isolates herself. She doesn't talk to her friends about this, believing that they wouldn't understand. And then she denies like imagining things and she insists that her beliefs are real. So it's a lot of like obsession and like it's very unhealthy type of obsession. So those are the symptoms.
Yeah. And then due to the obsession, like the excessive obsession we saw, we first thought it was like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, but then we ruled that out because of the specific obsession over Chris. And then we also thought it could have been schizophrenia because there were a lot of delusions and daydreams that we were seeing. But then we do know that schizophrenia usually has other additional symptoms, right? Like sometimes like disorganized speech, etc. So we really thought it was erotomania because of the daydreams and also the lack of sleep and the fact that she's fixated on one person and it's a romantic feeling.
So, once we like figured that out, we saw like a treatment plan for that. And typically we've seen like a combination of psychotherapy, maybe like specifically cognitive behavioral therapy and antipsychotic medicine to help with that. Yeah, and that's all of us.
Okay, awesome, guys. You were totally right with that. It was erotomania is how I want to say it. Um, okay, so that was everyone for our groups. Shri, what are you thinking? Do you think we call it, or do you guys want to do one more round and try and make it like a quick, snappy one? You want to do one more round? Okay, how about this? If you gotta go, you can go now, but would love it if people would stay to do one more. So we'll say optional stay for one more, but I'd like it if you stayed. Okay, so for who seriously, guys, if you gotta go, you gotta go. That's fine. So Riddy, you're here. Are you still here?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, so you're the only person who has to stay.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
fine.
add, I would like to say, I now have co-host privileges, so I can see the rooms now. But yeah, we should be fine with there's 10 people left in this.
Oop,
Nine.
and dropping. Okay, yeah,
Oh yeah,
let's
let's
do another round. I think we should, I'm gonna try to pick some more of the like, there's a few on here that are kind of out there, things I've never heard of. So, oh man, they're dropping like flies. Um, I said it was optional and they're like, bye. Okay, so how many people do we have left? How many rooms do we want to do? So we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven people who aren't us. Um, so maybe three rooms and we'll do teams of two. Do you think teams of two was good, guys? Yeah. Dylan, did you have a question? Okay, so let's do three breakout rooms. Maybe we name them. I'm just gonna pick things that I think. Do you guys want them to be hard or do you want them to be easy? Medium? Okay, so let's make them numbers.
yeah, give me the numbers and I can put them into the rooms.
Let's do I'm just gonna make them hard because I want to see if you'll get them. It'll be fun, guys. Let's do 11,
Mm-hmm.
6 and
16.
16 and 18.
18.
And guys, if you go into your room and you made that one, please leave. Please go to a different room.
And also partner up with someone different.
Yeah,
Make
different.
friends.
Okay, wait, how about we do oh shoot, did someone go already? Was 10 minutes good time, too much time, not enough time?
I
10
think it was
minutes? Oh, Carter, I saw you do a thumbs down first and then change your mind.
Like as in like less time, less time.
Okay, okay. How about we do 8 minutes? Is 8 minutes enough for the others?
Yeah,
Perfect.
All right, so let's come back together at 8:55 is 8 minutes from now. So 8:55, we'll see you all back here, okay?
All right.
All right, get out of here.
Oh, the breaker.
From earlier. All right, go ahead.
So me and Riddy were in room 11, so like case 11. The main thing with this case was that he is 17 years old and he had a lot of problems with his family, like during meal times because he's just being triggered by the sounds, and also at school during like lunch, I guess, he would also have problems and he'd have to like either play music really loudly or just go somewhere quieter to sit with like a teacher or someone else. So we diagnosed him with misophonia.
Yeah, and then in terms of like treatment, we thought of like sound therapy. I think like they mentioned that at the end, how he kind of listens to noise canceling headphones and he has like white noise playing all the time. And that's actually one of the treatments as well for this. So it's like having a white noise machine in your house. It's also a lot to do with like lifestyle modifications and just avoiding certain trigger sounds. In this case, that would be like his chewing, and like any loud noises that are to do with eating, I guess. And then the last thing was kind of like support groups and talking to other people who have the same condition to kind of make it more normalized.
Awesome. That was totally the diagnosis. It's misophonia, if anyone is curious on doing some follow-up research. Okay, so group 16.
All right. So our group figured out that it is Capgras syndrome or Capgras syndrome. It's a rare disorder that it makes people that are close to you, you think that they're imposters. So in this case, um, basically just this guy's wife, he just did not think it was actually her. He thought it was like some imposter. So
Yeah, I had to piggyback off that. Like the main symptoms we saw from that, like that made us pick that was just the fact that people around him he thought were like not the people he thought they were. He didn't think his wife was like the real person she was. So yeah, it was the symptoms aligned with the diagnosis. So we were like, okay, there's got to be this one.
Hey, nice work, guys. That was Capgras syndrome, Capgras for anyone looking to do some extra credit research. There's not actually extra credit. I was just kidding. Good job, guys. So next we have group 18.
Uh, it's a similar condition to what was said before. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Fregoli syndrome. It's basically when a person thinks like wh- who they're close to, like their family member or friends, they're basically trying to like disguise themselves as strangers and trying to fool them. And like they're like following you, trying to harm you and deceive you. And I got that because like the woman thought her best friend was a barista, and the barista was also very confused on what was going on. And she avoids going to social gatherings and like works remotely because she has paranoia that it's like her friends and colleagues basically trying to deceive her. And the treatments to that is for medication, it's antipsychotics, antidepressant, and anti-seizure medication. And for therapy, it's cognitive behavioral therapy. And yeah, that was just me.
So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think that was everyone. Did anyone else have and oh wait, I didn't tell you if that was right or not. It was right. It was Fregoli delusion, Frege GOLI, delusion. Nice work, guys. These were some like really out there things. So I'm super proud of you for figuring it out. Good job. Any, oh wait, Shri, can you stop recording? Because I'm literally just rambling now.
Yeah, of course. Let me